What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chalk and Squawk podcast, where 4 student teachers come together and talk about their experiences and talk about some of their...
When everybody's heard about the bird. Bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird is a winner.
Hold up.
I think there's 5 of us, but
She's not a student teacher.
She's not a student teacher. Today we're talking about extracurriculars, sports, music, theater, all the things like that. We're going to give some of our opinions and some of our experiences with it growing up in school. Who wants to start off?
Okay, so the first extracurricular we're going to talk about is sports. I played a lot of sports. What are we already laughing for? I played a lot of sports growing up, and it definitely helps keep me in school and actually want to come to school, because even when I was sick, I know I couldn't play in a game that day if I didn't go to school. I think it keeps a lot of kids in school, especially going into high school, because sometimes the only bright spot of their day is Students' Day is sports and stuff like that.
I'm also going to talk about sports. I played field hockey, lacrosse, and I also ran indoor track. So I did sports year-round in high school and middle school, and I think it's really important just because exercise is really good for your brain. And also, again, like what Makai said, it kept me in school. I will admit, my senior year, I was very much tardy almost every day. But I wasn't absent because I was like, I have practice later and I really want to go. And I do think that if I didn't play sports, then my grades wouldn't have been as good. And I definitely would have had a lot more absences, because sometimes that was my highlight of the day, was just going to practice.
so just to add to what you're saying that sports keeps you accountable. I do think that is fairly true, and as well as I think sports gives that community for a lot of kids who may not necessarily have the, maybe not necessarily the groups or the cliques, but they get that sort of community from the team. Being a part of the team, I think, is a strong point. You say you're a part of a lot of team sports besides indoor track, as well as you, Makai. I did sports not in my high school, but my middle and primary, or primary and secondary. I did soccer, swimming, and water polo. It was very fun. It was fun to be a part of the team, especially for all of the, besides swimming, of course, but it definitely created that space where it's it could be, I don't want to say you could be yourself, but you could be, a part of the team, just being a part of that team. I think it creates a big community as well as.
Yeah, I also think too, sports, especially for some reason indoor track, helped me come out of my comfort zone. I used to not talk until probably around 8th grade when I joined indoor track, and even though it's technically not a team sport, it's still very social, and after 8th grade, I couldn't shut up because of indoor track. It really forced me to come out of my shell, and I started participating more in class as a result of it, because before, I knew the answer to the question, whatever the teacher was asking, but I wouldn't raise my hand because I was just so shy. And I think just being in a culture and a community that supports you really gives you the courage to step out of your comfort zone, not on the field or on the track or whatever.
I'll speak a little bit on the character it builds as a human being. There's no hiding that kids hate losing, right? And in life, you're going to lose in both literal and metaphorical ways. There are going to be situations where you gotta...
I don't lose.
There are going to be situations...
I'm keeping that in.
There are going to be situations in life where you're going to have to deal with failure. And some of the earliest, failures I had as a kid was losing my kindergarten basketball game, losing my basketball games in first and second grade, losing my games in baseball.
You must suck.
Yeah, me personally.
Kindergarten?
Hey, if we need to do an episode that's just us hooping one day, I'm down for
Yeah.
that, low key.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want that smoke.
I don't think Hannah wants to smoke.
Anyway.
Act up with the non-sports side.
Anyway, I think that it builds character, and I think that that sportsmanship is something you need in all aspects of life, and sports is one of the easiest way to be able to build that from the ground up from a very young age, and to really understand how to treat people with respect, even if you are not in the mood to be able to give that to other people. Like, I'm mad, maybe that ref made a really bad call back in the third quarter. Maybe my teammate sold me, maybe my teammate sucked and I'm mad at them. Maybe the other team was pushing me around a little bit, but still at the end of the day, you're going to line up and give them a high five and tell them good game and respect them, because that's just what you got to do in life sometimes. Sometimes it's not fair. Sometimes life isn't fair. And at the end of the day, not violence, but
Okay.
Off topic.
being
not
rude,
good.
being rude or disrespectful is
Negativity.
not going to solve any problems.
Showing
You know?
sportsmanship outside the court as well as on the court is important.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have like when you're giving high fives after a game? Oh my god! And did you have anyone that like would not high five you? Like they would like put their hand down and then like,
yeah,
put it
for
back
sure.
up.
Yeah.
Like,
I loved
Yeah.
when the coaches did that on the other team.
Oh my
that
God,
was
yeah.
really funny.
yeah, I remember my mom. This was like maybe like 4th grade lacrosse, and like one of the players refused to like give my mom a high five. Like one of the players on the other team refused to give my mom, who was coaching, a high five. And my mom came up to her and was like, "Why didn't you shake my hand?"
Good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes you gotta like, especially with young kids, you gotta like not necessarily force them into being good sports, but you need to teach them young, or you're gonna get a bunch of high attitude kids later in life who aren't good teammates, and then that's gonna lead to outbursts in school too when something doesn't go their
Fair
way.
point, yeah.
And it's like, it sounds silly now to like have make sure everyone high fives even at like kindergarten soccer, but
Yeah.
it builds like that mentality
character, yeah.
for later in life, especially because you're gonna work with people that you don't agree with, you don't like, but you gotta get through it.
I mean, yeah, it's a little off topic, but parents in sports are genuinely the worst. Like, all of that character building that I talked about, you're not getting that if your parents are just going to yell at the coach if you're not getting enough playing time, or yell at the coach for not doing it this way. That's not teaching your kid that's not making sports a beneficial thing for their kids, because they're just going to stay as those spoiled brats, and they're always going to be angry when things don't go their way.
Damn.
I do also think, going off of that, I do also think coaches, going off of that, play a major part in those in their students,
Athletes.
in their athletes. And you're right, student athletes and their student athletes like development as well. When you have a good, very high energy, supportive coach, you see a lot of good feedback. You see a lot of results. I mean, that's something that we learned in some of our classes. That coaching language is incredibly important. So I think as teachers as well, also incorporating that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
that sort of language. Yes, the parents may have its own plays, its own impact on the students and the athletes, but being that teacher, being that position of authority and power, it does have a lot of ties between coaches and whatnot. Same.
Yeah, going off of the coaches thing, at the end of the day, both parents and coaches and even the kids have to deal with the reality of 99.99% of athletes are not playing anything beyond high school. And then
Not
especially
the
beyond, aside from her, because she's the GOAT apparently, but especially beyond college, even after that, it's even lower.
Damn.
And although I think competition is a great character building thing for children, they also have to realize at the end of the day, if you're not having fun doing this, for most people, there is no reason to be doing it. And the coaches have to realize that too. Like, your kids are not going to the MLB. So as long as they're having fun, as long as they're putting in their best effort, that's what you really need out of a little league team.
Not that bad too. They're not getting anywhere.
That's a
Yeah.
good
True.
way to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This-
Where do we want to talk about like music and theater now?
Yeah, Hannah, you get to start.
Yeah. Now you get to talk to
Your time to shine.
Leroy.
So for my non-athletic
you-
students,
You can go talk about it. Technical difficulties. Yeah.
there's a lot of overlap between sports and theater too. Honestly, with that, because you're also
Troy Bolton.
You don't have to be the star basketball player.
ooh.
Oh,
It's okay, technical difficulties.
I mean, because you're also on a team and you're working with your it's a little theater term, your ensemble, and you got people that you might also not like, or might be little control freaks. But that's okay. and everyone, it's not like you're competing against other people, but everyone is together kind of just competing against themselves, which I think is also really healthy competition to have, to learn how to push yourself to do something that you're uncomfortable with. Theater, especially for younger students, is a pretty like vulnerable thing for them to do, to be up on a stage and like sing and dance and like memorize lines and speak things that they wouldn't in real life. And that's, I think, really valuable for little kids. What was I saying? It's a very vulnerable thing to do. And I think it's really important to open kids up to that emotionality, I guess, and show them different ways that they can express it. You're also building a lot of different skills beyond just like singing and dancing and acting. Like memorizing lines is really incredibly helpful. Learning how to count music, how to read it, how to work all together, how to listen to the one person of authority, and kind of all work together as a team to fulfill whatever that director's vision is, whether you agree with it or not, kind of thing. And it's a very different side of extracurriculars, but I think the arts are also really important and really valuable because it gives students a place to be a little weirder, I think, a little more like free and open in ways that like a regular classroom wouldn't support necessarily. Like everyone's allowed to be loud and obnoxious and like with the little kids. With high school theater it gets a little different because then you are like 14 years old, but I digress. But yeah, I love the arts. I think the arts are important, and you also get to learn about a lot of different stories. 'Cause at the end of the day, you're still putting on like a musical, a play, X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. You're learning about other people's stories, other people's perspectives, and then how to take that on and how to build empathy for other people that aren't you.
Period. I have something to say.
Yes.
So, even though I was a 3-sport athlete, I was also in orchestra. And
What'd you play though?
I played the viola.
Oh,
And I was low-key
you
good
should have brought
at
it.
it too. Yeah. Maybe that'll be a surprise episode. I'll bring my viola.
Did all of us play an instrument at some point?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wait, what did everyone go around? I played viola.
You look like a
I
clarinet
play
player.
piano.
Saxophone.
Guitar.
Trumpet.
We have a band.
Oh my
Holy
God.
hell.
gosh.
We
Oh.
have a band.
Anyways.
Stay tuned.
So I was in orchestra and sports, and I'll get kind of like a little bit of like questioning from both sides of like my teammates and also like my other orchestra people.
Class.
Class, yeah,
Peers.
it was a class. It was a class I could take. Of like, why do you do sports and orchestra? And I think it's being well-rounded like that has taught me so much. Kind of like what Hannah was saying, like, well, sports like brought me a lot, like my voice, my leadership. It carried over as well into orchestra. I was first chair, so.
My gosh. What isn't she good at?
Yeah,
I
could've
know,
been me.
period.
I
I was
was
also
third chair through and through.
I think I was top 5 at some point.
I wasn't.
I
I think I got top 10 once.
And so there was a little bit of leadership in that, and then like as I got older, like the seniors in the orchestra took on more of like a leadership role, for like the underclassmen. So it was like kind of similar to like being like upperclassmen on the team as well. But it also like again taught me how to be vulnerable, and I think it also taught me like attention to detail that I bring to both sports and also teaching and learning. It taught me how to be very, very detail oriented, and I think while pushing everyone, like pushing children to be exceptional at every single thing is not healthy. I do think encouraging them to try new things and see what they like is very, very helpful. And my parents were always supportive. They were like, you do whatever you want to do. You can be really into sports. You can be really into music. You can be really into whatever, just as long as there's something. Like, as long as you're not going to school, going home, and doing nothing. That's all they really cared about. And I think that's a good mentality to have. Like, they never pushed me one way or another. They were just kind of encouraging me to do what I liked. And I liked both sports and music, so I stuck with both until graduation. Now I only do sports. But, yeah.
Where's the music?
Okay, so I was never musically gifted, but I did do band from 3rd grade to senior year of high school.
How did that work?
I tried my best, but I played trumpet for a long time.
You did, actually.
Yes.
Damn, that's
I
awesome.
was not very good.
Do you
I
have it?
was, huh?
Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's in my room.
Mm.
I was 3rd
So
chair
we're putting band.
to senior year, and then I got bumped to 2nd chair. That was my highlight of my music career. But
Second chair first loser. What?
I was 2nd chair of 2nd trumpet. I wasn't even 1st trumpet. No, we don't need to get 2nd chair. I still was really bad. I was terrible.
So you were still 3rd?
No, like, so we had like 4 for trumpet 1s, and then we had like 5 trumpet 2s, and then like 6 trumpet 3s. I was
At least we're in trumpet 3.
1st trumpet 2.
Ah.
Because
Pretty good.
I was not good. No,
No,
let's not. Let's be for real. Anyways, I think
Better than the trumpet 3s who weren't where you
yeah,
were.
that
There
I
were
was only
6 of
there
them
till
who wanted to be
junior
where you were.
Yeah, I moved up a seat every year, but that's besides the point. I think like band and that type of the arts definitely helped me meet new people that I wouldn't have met only playing sports, because it's definitely a different crowd. There is some overlaps, especially because I went to a smaller high school. There was a lot of overlaps, but at the same time, it's definitely a different side of people that you see, because there's some people you'd be like, oh, there's no way this is something they also enjoy doing. Yeah, like we had a music video back here.
I'm imagining Makai playing trumpet
Oh, look at
too.
what happened to
You
it.
didn't even have to imagine. You heard me play trumpet too.
I heard it. All right.
Oh. Anyways. Aw.
Oh, it's motion center. See, it's not me
Ooh,
moving.
that was really good.
Yeah, I don't know where else I was going. I think it just helps you meet a new
people.
group
Yeah.
of people that you might not necessarily meet before.
Transitioning. Oh, you have one?
Sure, I got a little something to say. So, I was never a theater kid. I did do band, played saxophone, as I said before. I will talk a little bit about my opinions on theater, though, because I think theater is actually amazing. And being surrounded by some more theater kids in college nowadays, I see its benefits. And I think that for
Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you, Anastasia. I love you. Continue.
for children, being comfortable in your own skin is... I'll wait.
I don't know what you're waiting for.
I'll wait.
Nothing happens.
I'll wait.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 eyes on me.
All right. What was I saying? Theater kid. I know theater kids now. It's cool. All right. So, being comfortable in your own skin is very difficult for kids, especially around like the middle school age. And being in theater, to me, seems like that kind of forces that out of you because, yes, ma'am?
No, continue, then I have something to say.
And being a theater kid kind of forces that out of you. And as someone who maybe had a little bit of trouble coming into my own as a person growing up, I think that theater could have kind of took that out of me a little bit because of just how terrifying it is to be up there, being goofy, being serious, displaying all these emotions that you have to when it comes to acting. And I think that is an amazing thing to be able to train into yourself from a young age.
I work in a theater summer camp, and I was working with a little boy. He was like 9 years old, I think. And we were doing a scene where he had to like fake cry really hysterically, in a comedic way. In the whole spiel of the scene, like it was gonna be a funny moment, but he was really against it because he was like, oh, like boys don't cry, that's so embarrassing, only girls cry, like I'm not gonna do that because it's really embarrassing, it's not what boys do. And that was like genuinely really ingrained to him, and it took us a good 3 days.
I'm just trying to get afraid.
It took us a good 2-3 days to get rid of him, but he was able to kind of leave that prejudice isn't the right word. Preconceived notion. Yeah.
Oh, Stephen!
He was able to break that down, understand why it is a stereotype, why it's not accurate, and why it's kind of like a more dangerous mindset to have growing up. And I'm sure that he wasn't thinking about all of that in the moment because he's 9 years old. But looking in as educators, like for me, that was a pretty big moment because I was like, oh, this is genuinely something that someone has taught you, that boys shouldn't cry and that this is an embarrassing thing for you to do. So now we can take it, and because of the scene that you're doing, we can kind of break that down a little bit. And he was able to work through it, and he was hilarious, and he ended up really, really liking what he got to do with that part because we were able to kind of flip around what he'd been taught. So that's why I agree with what Brady said.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was really lovely.
Is there any other like bases we want to touch extracurriculars wise? Because we've talked about music.
I
and
didn't talk about
theater and sports.
I was part of cultural
Yeah, we have
clubs.
culture clubs and then like STEM clubs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to do? I can add that.
We just talk about clubs in general,
Yeah.
Yeah.
as opposed to like
different
theater,
types.
sports, and clubs.
Yeah.
It was all like the three.
Like
things.
yeah, no, you're right.
I
Yeah.
feel like isn't theater not a club?
It's
Usually
not.
own
No,
It
I mean,
depends on
anything
the
can be a
More
school.
club.
like yeah.
Because we had drama club, but that was the only theater we had.
Yeah.
In,
Some schools have it as like a combined class.
Good
Some
thank you.
people. It just depends on where the money goes towards.
Usually theater's like, if it is a club though, it's like a big club compared to like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Best Buds. I don't know if you guys had that.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
That was like way smaller in scale
Yeah, yeah.
to the theater department.
yeah.
Oh my god. My like field work placement last year at Achievement First, which I don't know if I should name drop on here, but whatever.
Bleep it out.
Yeah.
I like came in and they were like, oh yeah, like they're doing a play. And I watched my kindergartners, well it was like only like 3 of them who were in the club and be in the play. They performed a musical version of Frog and Toad.
Oh.
So sick. And like the parents like went all out, like they raised so much money and they had like fog machines and confetti and it was so sick. And the kids loved it and it was so nice to see them like I don't know, it was just really cute, like watching them perform and stuff. Like I was like, oh my god, like I was so proud of like my students that I barely knew because I only was there for like 3 weeks, but I was proud of them. I was like, heck yeah, you did that.
It's so cute. I subbed at an elementary school last summer, and they were doing Finding Nemo, so I had to go bring the rest of the class to watch them, and I was sitting there in the back row. I'd only been subbing for them for 2 days, and I was like bawling because it was so cute. Just like what they were doing and how much fun they were having. Makes me so emotional. Other clubs beside theaters and sports, I think. Oh,
I was a part of a couple clubs, mainly pertaining to like STEM in my primary, secondary, and high school. Just to list a couple of them, I was a part of this Little Einstein club, and that was basically just they did a bunch of science experiments, and this was in my primary, so I was around 9 or 10, around that age. And I'll be honest, it was one of the most impactful clubs I've been in because it really just fostered my love for science, as well as like we were since it wasn't a class, there was a lot of just messing around, a lot of trial and error, and I think that is primarily what science is about. Now, speaking about other clubs, I was a part of an IT club in my secondary, and it was more or less the IT department, and we had a bunch of other like blanketing clubs like robotics, this and that was also really fun because I was in a leadership position, being a part of the IT department, and it was really fun to see just kids coming in. They were doing their coding. They had like I can't remember the exact robots they had. It was like a set, and it was really interesting to see them mess around and interact with it, as well as just, again, like I said, trial and error, just trying. There's a lot of times kids just didn't get it. Coding didn't work, but they never stopped. I remember, what was it? In the IT lab, we would have like 3 or 4 kids almost every day just messing around with robots when really and truly they should be doing other things, but because they had that space, because they had the resources, they were able just to do something they enjoy. And I wish I kept in touch with those people, but I'm sure they're doing amazing things within those type of areas, or even if not, they definitely have those skills to use. Another club I was a part of, can't think of the top of my head. There was like also like creativity stuff. I did a lot of like I don't know if you consider this clubs like drawing arts. We had this program in my primary. It was called VAPA, Visual and Performing Arts. It wasn't a club per se, but it was more like a requirement for all students. But it encompassed the theater, performing arts, visual arts, all that sort of stuff. And that was really, as Kelly said in an earlier point, it creates well-rounded people. I mean, there's so many things I've learned that I don't inherently use. Like, I don't draw every single day, but I do use certain things to find perspective. Or whether it is, I remember some of like my the performing arts, like the dance, theater, all that sort of stuff. I didn't have too much of it. I didn't do too much of it, but I do remember a lot of things my instructors and like tutors may have said, like, oh, like these are just things that I carry on into the future. Did you have a point?
Oh, just super quick.
Yeah, of course.
Being well-rounded also prevents like a restrictive identity within children, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like you're not putting yourself into a box. Like for example, I started playing lacrosse when I was in like first grade. If I only did lacrosse for the rest of my life, I would probably be saying like I'm a lacrosse player, that's all I am. I'm not a student, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm a lacrosse player, that is me. Which really is restrictive, and like we talked about this in our class.
Yeah.
It's similar to like the reader versus non-reader mentality.
Like growth mindset or non-growth mindset.
Exactly.
Well. Yeah.
It all overlaps with each other, and I think being well-rounded and like having lots of different activities that you do prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
So I do think that's another reason why trying different things is always good. Continue.
I kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, exactly. I think having those spaces are really impactful. I mean, they create. I think that's what clubs honestly boil down to. Obviously, you have the achievement aspect of it. You know, what I mean, you win your sports games. You do really well in your plays. You do very. What else we talk about? You find a love for something. You find a passion. That's what it is. I mean, that's about being a person. And as you get older, you see that there are not as many outlets. No, there are a lot of outlets for these things, but it's hard to find them, especially if you never was exposed to them in the past before. Like I know right now my sister, she's 12, she's doing a robotics club, and she has a opportunity to go in down to Florida for like a convention, and I'm so for it because one, you get me a lot of people there. Also, it's even if she has nothing to do with robotics in her life, it's something that she's interested in right now, and I think as a child, your passions, those things that drive you, those what make you a person, if that makes sense. I'm running out of words right now, so I would love if someone take it off of me.
Because kids are at a very young age, they're really impressionable, and I think very few kids know exactly what they want to do in their life before the age of like, I don't know what a good age is, like 14 maybe. I think before high school, like a lot of kids are just kind of
I didn't know what I was going to do until my senior year.
I still don't know what I want to do with my life. But
I thought you wanted to do theater.
let's talk about it later. But no, kids are really impressionable, and it's important that they get to wrap it all up. That they get that way to experience a lot of different things, so that they can never later in life they can't have that, I guess, doubt of like, oh, what if I had done this? What if I had done this? Because they got to grow up in a place that allowed them to kind of flip and flop between whatever they want because there wasn't any pressure to be the best at something or continue something for the rest of your life because you did it once when you were in like second grade. So overall, if not to teach you about like community and team building and whatever X, Y, and Z skills fall within whatever club you do, it's a good place for kids to start figuring out their place in the world and what brings them joy and what doesn't. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Chalk and Squawk. For our next one, we're going to be discussing a really important topic, which is violence in the classrooms.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird.